Okay, I'm going to show you a cooking technique that is a little bit deceiving. It's called roasting peppers, and I know when we think of roasting, you think of going in the oven, maybe coated with some oil, maybe some browning happens on the outside. And this is a little bit different and strange and weird, but it comes out with a great result. We're going to take these peppers and we're actually going to char them on the stove. We call that roasting. I don't know why, but if you actually roasted a pepper and put it in the oven, you'd end up with something that was either overcooked or the skin wouldn't come off if you wanted it to. So in this case, we're going to remove the skin via charring. If you just roasted it, the skin would be stuck to the flesh and would not come away. Okay, so here we go. First thing I'm going to do is put these on the stove. And I'm just doing a high flame on this. And you literally want this directly on the fire. Okay, this is going to char on the outside. I do not want to touch these. I'm not going to move these. I'm not going to do anything to these until I have complete black char on that side. Now you can go too far. If you start seeing white, you went too far. Okay, so turn it. So we'll give these a little bit, maybe a minute or so on this side, and then we'll give them a turn. Okay, these guys have been going a little over a minute. I'm going to take a peek here. And that is beautiful. That's what we're looking for. Completely charred, completely black. Any place that it's not black, it's not going to peel off when we go to take the skin off. Okay, here's our poblano. Whoops. Here, the poblano pepper, you can see, totally black. There's a little bit of green right in the crevice there, but you know, you might just have some of that left over. It happens sometimes. So we need to let this go on the other side until it gets totally charred there, and then we'll give it another turn. Okay, I'm going to let these guys go on this side for another minute or so, and I'm going to keep going all the way around until all of the skin is charred, making sure I don't get any of that white char on the outside. Okay, we'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay, so it's been a few more minutes now, and these guys are nice and charred all the way around. Take a look. There's our red pepper. You can see just in those crevices is where you see the color, otherwise totally black. We're going to take these peppers and put them now into a container that has a lid. Now the importance of the lid is that we're gonna let these guys steam in here, and it'll soften up the ash or the char on the outside. It'll also steam the meat on the inside of the pepper a little bit. So we'll give these about 10 minutes or so to steam, and then we'll come right back and finish them off. Okay, so we're back, and I have rested these for about 10 minutes or so, covered. I uncovered it so it would cool off a bit. Again, the idea of that was to steam the flesh inside there, or the meat of the pepper, and also to kind of soften up the charred skin. So I went ahead and I did one of the peppers for you already. This is the poblano, and you can see in its finished form, it's free of that charred skin. It rubbed right off very easily under water. I pulled the seeds out of the inside. This is 100% edible, ready for cooking, adding to a recipe, whatever you're gonna do with it. This guy's ready to go. So let me show you how I did that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the red bell pepper the same way. I'm using a bowl of water. You could do this under running water, even better. Some people don't like to use water because they don't want to rinse away the flavor, but it's quite a bit more difficult if you don't use some water on this. So here we go. I'm just gonna put it in here, and I'm literally just rubbing. You can see when I rub my thumb along this, it comes off really easily. The purpose for the water is that what's left is these little bits of black charred skin. Now, if you go to do this, the most likely problem you're going to have is that it doesn't all come off. And if it doesn't come off, the reason again was that it just didn't char enough. And you can always just work around that part. Okay, so you can see I got most of it peeled. Give it a quick dip to remove those little bits and pieces of black. You can actually take your thumb and just kind of dig in there and pull out that stem and the seed pod. Clean out the inside. It's too hot, just dip it in water. Okay, so this guy is peeled and ready to go. From here, you could cut it into a julienne, you could dice it up, put it into a mix, make a salsa, lots of different things you can do. And again, we call this a roasted bell pepper or a roasted poblano. Technically, these guys are charred, peeled, but the meat is cooked perfectly. It's ready to go. Give this a try, let us know how it works out.